Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai.
Jai
Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.
Jai
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai
Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai
Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 3, Lord Chaitanya's pastimes in the house of Advaita Acharya. So we read that after Advaita Acharya asked Mahaprabhu to stay back. He stayed back for some days. They had festivities every day, like before, for a few days. And then finally, Mahaprabhu said, now he requested everyone to go home, right? Everyone, please go to your respective homes now. You perform Sankirtan in your homes. And don't worry, we will be meeting again and again. You'll come to Puri to see me. I'll come to Ganga to see Ganga, and at that time I will meet you. We will be meeting again in future. In this way, pacifying everyone, encouraging everyone to chant, to continue Sankirtan. Mahaprabhu now left. And as soon as Mahaprabhu left, there was a tumultuous roar of cry that arose in the house of Advaita Acharya. There was loud wailing and weeping and crying in Advaita Acharya's home. But Mahaprabhu was unaffected. Without turning around, he just kept moving. And Advaita Acharya, unable to bear the pain of separation, started running after Mahaprabhu, crying. He was just following Mahaprabhu, weeping and crying. So now let's see what happened after that. Okay, text 212. Nirap Kandite Kandite Acharya Paschat Chalila. Unaffected, Nirapeksha, right? Everyone is crying, weeping. Not that Mahaprabhu is like, oh, no, don't cry. It's okay. No, all that is done, over. Because there will be never a time when they will say, okay, now you can go. That's never going to happen. Who knows it better than the Supreme Lord? So he spent, and then now is the time to just take action. So Mahaprabhu just left, nirapeksha, unaffected by, all the crying and everything. He just left and he started walking swiftly because the sooner the better. As long as they keep seeing him again, that pain is difficult. It's going to be unbearable. But out of sight, then that pain will be minimized. So very swiftly he started going. You see this in Lord Ramchandra's pastime also. And Lord Ramchandra was going to the forest along with Lakshman and Sita Devi. He was on the chariot. Sumantra was driving the chariot. Dashrath Maharaj was running, and he was the king, so he was ordering Sumantra to drive slowly, because he was not able to catch up. And Lord Ramchandra, he couldn't see the pain of his father and all the residents also. So he said, "Drive swiftly, just keep driving," like that. And many times in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we will see the Lord is very firm. He just, no turning back. So Nirapeksha, being unaffected, unmoved. So Nirapeksha, Haya Prabhu, Shigra Chalila. Very swiftly he started walking. And then, so he's walking swiftly. Kandite, Kandite, crying and crying. Acharya Paschat Chalila. Right? Behind him, after Mahaprabhu, Acharya, Advaita Acharya is going, very running after Mahaprabhu, crying and crying. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unaffected. He left swiftly, and Advaita Acharya followed him, weeping. Purport. As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains, the word Nirapeksha means not being affected by anything material. Yes. So it's not that he had no emotions, no feelings. Of course, he's full of, his heart is as soft as butter, even softer than butter. But he's not moved by material emotions. So that's where we need to know, right? Where to show compassion, right? Show compassion for the body or for the soul. This is in general for us, not in this context. But in general, when we feel sorry for someone, what are you feeling sorry for? You're feeling sorry for that spirit soul who's suffering in this material condition, or if you're feeling sorry for that body. There's nothing wrong with taking care of the body, but that's not the only concern. The first protection should be given to the spirit soul. First thing is the bhakti has to be protected. So, Nirapeksha means, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is explaining, Nirapeksha means unaffected, being unaffected by anything material and remaining fixed in the service of the Lord. Right? Not being affected by material things and remaining fixed in the service of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not very much care for the roaring tumult and cry at the house of Advaita Acharya, which he heard when starting for Jagannath Puri. He was not affected by that. Worldly moralists may criticize Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for being very cruel, but the Lord did not care for such criticism. As the world teacher of this Krishna consciousness movement, he actually showed that a person seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness should not be affected by worldly affection. Very, very, grave instructions are being given here. As a person seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness, or a person seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness should not be affected by worldly affection. The best course is to engage in rendering service to the Lord and to become callous to material objectives. Become callous to material objectives. Externally, everyone is attached to material things and material relationships, right? Externally, everyone is attached to material things, but if one becomes entangled in such things, he cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness. So therefore, one's relationship should be with this material world or material relations. Even if you're close physically, your relationship should be like 36. 30 is turned, 3 is turned this way and 6 is turned this way. There's no attachment. Not like 63, attachment. No. You understand, 36. No attachment. So physically you may be in one place, but there should not be any attachment if you want to make Krishna consciousness. Should not be any attachment means certainly the attachment is based on body now. It is based on body. Now then I don't have that, then what should we do? You should pray to Krishna like Kunti Maharani is praying. break my affection for my husband's family and my father's family. She's praying. She's praying. You break my affection. I have affection, no doubt. But this affection is an obstacle on my Krishna consciousness. So break my affection. What type of affection are we talking about? False affection based on bodily identification. We don't want this because it's going to be an obstacle on the path of Krishna consciousness. Like that. Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord himself, is setting example. And these are all, so he's setting example. Not that all these personalities they're all pure devotees, eternal associates, right? But to set example for all of us who are materially attached, Mahaprabhu is setting an example. He actually showed that a person seriously engaged in Krishna consciousness should not be affected by worldly affection. The best course is to engage in rendering service to the Lord and to become callous. Become callous. That means no feelings, callous to material objectives. Externally, everyone is attached to material things, but if one becomes entangled in such things, he cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, those who are engaged in Krishna consciousness should not care for the so-called morality of the material world if that morality opposes the service of the Lord. That is the point. As Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally shown, one cannot properly execute Krishna consciousness without being neutral. What would we think normally if that's a situation? How would we feel? We would feel, and it is so heart-wrenching, right? And their attachment was not just an attachment to a son or husband or, a friend, a neighbor. Their attachment was to the Supreme Lord. Theirs was actually real attachment. This was bhakti. This was love for the Supreme Lord. Nevertheless, the Lord is using his own devotees as instruments to teach us a very important lesson for all of us. So the point is, devotional service takes precedence always. And if material, morality is coming in the way, then reject that. And that's where the problem comes usually. When you're living in the material world, then everyone will expect you to act according to material morality. So 9 out of 10 will be, and then you become the bad person, right? Because you don't have any feelings, you are a cruel, whatever devotee you are, right? Whether it is family or friends, right? What is this? No, you should have affection and this and that, relatives and, weddings and all these things. You have to choose what you want. If you want Krishna, then you'll have to um, um, yeah, sometimes you participate in these things, but externally, not with your heart. That's the main point. The whole game is about our attachment in the heart. It's not about the externals. Externals you may do for the sake of others, but in your heart of hearts, you should not get attached to it. That is the important thing. Okay, next. Koto dura. We're coming to the end of this chapter. Koto dura giya prabhu kori joda hata acharye prabodhiko he kichu mishta bata. So like this, Mahaprabhu was walking swiftly, Kotadur, for some distance he walked. And Acharya Prabhu was crying and following Advaita Acharya. Then Mahaprabhu stopped, turned around, he folded his hands, and he started to pacify Advaita Acharya by speaking some sweet words. Right? Advaita Acharya is crying, can you imagine? He's crying and going after Mahaprabhu. So finally Mahaprabhu stopped and he turned around, he folded his hands and he began to pacify Advaita Acharya with sweet words. After he had followed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for some distance, Advaita Acharya was petitioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with folded hands. the Lord spoke the following sweet words. Janani prabodhi karo bhakta samadhan, tumi vyagra hoile karo na rahibe pran. Advaita Acharya, you are the leader, right? You are the leader of the whole community, Vaishnava community. You are supposed to go back. Everyone is, on the verge of death there. If you are supposed to go back and pacify my mother, you are supposed to go and pacify all the devotees there. They look up to you. If you become like this, right? If you fall apart, nobody is going to stay alive. Everyone is going to die. This is the severity. This is this, how intense the situation was. They were all on the verge of death out of separation. They were already separated, but now separation after union, it's unbearable. That's the reason why Krishna was not going to Vrindavan. Because in separation, at least they were living in the hope that he's going to come, he's going to come. But when the Lord comes, and again when he will leave, they won't be able to live. That's why Sri Krishna didn't go back to Vrindavan, for that reason. So here now, after a short separation, of course, right, for a few days, they met Mahaprabhu, and now he's going away. Of course, and they're going to be meeting him again. It's not like he's gone for good. So it's different. But still, the separation was so intense. They were all on the verge of death out of separation. So Mahaprabhu is saying, you go home. You pacify my mother, you pacify all the devotees. Otherwise, nobody is going to live. You cannot act like this. To me, Vyagra hoile, if you become agitated like this, Karo, na rahiba pran, nobody is going to keep their lives. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please pacify all the devotees and my mother. If you become agitated, no one will be able to continue to exist. Right? Eta boli Prabhu tare kori alingana nivritti koriya koilo swachanda gamana. Saying this, Mahaprabhu embraced Advaita Acharya. Nivritti koriya koilo swachanda gamana. Saying this, so independently, freely, the Lord went, right? Without anxiety. Swachanda. Yeah, Swachanda means freely, without any anxiety. Nivritti koriya koilo. Nivritti means stop. So he stopped Advaita Acharya. So he pacified Advaita Acharya, he embraced him, and he stopped him from following him any further. And in this way, becoming free from anxiety, the Lord proceeded toward Jagannath Puri. Saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Advaita Acharya and stopped him from following any further. Nivritti Koriya means he stopped him from following any further. Then without anxiety, he proceeded to Jagannath Puri. That means Advaita Acharya stopped. Ganga tire tire Prabhu chari jana sathe Niladri cholila Prabhu chhatra bhoga pathe. So following the course of Ganga, so going along the banks of Ganga, the Lord went towards Jagannath Puri. So he went via Chhatrabhog. He took the path of Chhatrabhog. So he visited different places on the way before reaching Jagannath Puri. And he went with 4 people. Who are they? Nityananda Prabhu, Damodar Pandit, Jagadananda Pandit, Mukunda Datta. So Ganga tire tire Prabhu, chari jana sathe, Niladri Cholila Prabhu, Chhatra Bhoga Pathe. So what are the places he visited? All this we read in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavatam, right? Detailed description is given. Translation. The Lord with the 4 persons went along the banks of the Ganges through the path of Chhatrabhog toward Niladri, Jagannath Puri. Purport. In the southern section of the Eastern Railway, in the district of 24 Parganas, is a station named Magrahata. If one goes to the southeastern side of that station for some 14 miles, there is a place called Jayanagar. About 6 miles south of this Jayanagar station is a village named Chhatrabhog. Sometimes this village is called Khadi. In this village is a known as Vaijurkanath. March, April. Remember Ambulinga Ghat we read, where Lord Shiva is seeing Gangaji, he just, melted into, right? He went into the Ganga, he became one with Ganga. That one. And also where the Ganga is divided into so many branches. So, this village Chhatrabhog, sometimes it's called Khadi, and there's a deity of Lord Shiva here. And a festival takes place every year during the month of Chaitra, March, April. The festival is known as Nanda Mela. At the present moment, the Ganges does not flow there. So now there is no Ganges there. On the same railway line is another station known as Baruipura. Baruipura. And near this station is another place called Atisara. Formerly, this village was also situated on the banks of the Ganges. One can go from this village to Panihati and from there to Varahanagar, north of Calcutta. In those days, the Ganges flowed to the south of Calcutta through Kali Ghat, which is still known as Adi Ganga. From Baruipur, the Ganges branched out and flowed through Diamond Harbour near the Mathurapur police station. It is to be noted that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through all these places on his way to Jagannath Puri. So those of you who are from Calcutta or you've been to Calcutta, you're familiar with these places. You must have also been there. So you can become happy that Mahaprabhu actually passed through all these places in and around Calcutta before going to Jagannath Puri. Let me see how many more verses are there, because it's already time. We are into 17 now. Okay, two more.
This time we will feel more. We didn't know about it, so we didn't feel this way.
Yes, Mataji. I was there last year, Toliganj, Srila Prabhupada's birthplace. So
Yeah.
now while reading this, I'm remembering.
Yes.
So 3 more verses and we'll complete. Chaitanya Mangale, we have purports also. Okay, small ones. Chaitanya Mangale Prabhura Niladri Gamana Vistari Varni Yachena Dasa Vrindavana. So Chaitanya Mangal is Chaitanya Bhagavat. In Chaitanya Mangal, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has very elaborately described the Lord's journey to Niladri or Jagannath Puri. In his book known as Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur has elaborately described the Lord's passage to Jagannath Puri. Purport: Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through Bengal, he passed through Atisara Gram, Varahagram and Chhatrabhog. He then reached the Orissa province, where he passed through Prayag Ghat, the Suvarna Rekha river, Remuna, Yajapur, where he bathed at the Dashashwamedha Ghat on the Vaitarini river, Kataka, that is Katak, where the Mahanadi river flows, Bhuvaneshwar, where there is a big lake known as Bindu Sarovar, Kamalapur, and Athara Nala. In this way, passing through all these and other places, he reached Jagannath Puri. So all this we have read in detail in Chaitanya Bhagavat. We are not going to discuss here. Advaita Grihe Prabhura Vilasa Shune Jai Advaita Grihe Prabhura Vilasa Shune Jai Jana Achire Milaye Tare Krishna Prema Dhana. Anyone who hears the Lord's stay at Advaita Acharya, his pastimes in the house of Advaita Acharya, such a person, Achire means forever, right? Or no, sorry, very soon. Chira means long, Achira means very quickly. Achire Milaye Tare Krishna Prem. Very soon he's going to get Krishna Prem done. So all of you will get the wealth of Krishna Prem very soon, because you have heard about the pastimes of Mahaprabhu in Advaita Acharya's home. Translation: if one hears the activities of the Lord at the house of Advaita Acharya, he will certainly very soon attain the riches of love of Krishna. Sri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jara Asha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishna Das narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Purport: thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 3rd chapter, describing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's stay at the house of Advaita Acharya, his acceptance of the sannyas order, and observation of daily festivals at Advaita Acharya's house, his congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and is feasting with all the devotees. And of course, finally he's leaving. But that, yeah, how he left. But the journey is not described in detail, but just how he left all the devotees. All this is described. Very nice. So we
Okay.
completed.
Advaita, this month is Advaita Acharya's month only. So in the calendar, his picture is the thing, and then 15th is his appearance.
Appearance day. That's the first festival, Gaur Purnima festival. Yes. Following that will be Nityananda, Lord Nityananda Trayodasi, and then Gaur Purnima. But I
The
have
right
a
time.
request.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
that we have read what we have read in chunks every day, little, all of you please go back and just read the whole thing. Now you'll relish it like anything because you have heard it once. This is where it's like when you don't do the second reading, then it'll just stay there somewhere. But when you read it again, now it will become nicely reinforced. So if you're not able to read the purpose and everything, if you read the purpose, that's wonderful, that's the best. But at least to get the flow of how it took place, just read the whole chapter now and relish it.
Which chapter to which chapter and
Madhya
which?
Lila chapter 3. We read Madhya Lila chapter 3.
Okay, we'll read it today only because today is good day.
Yes.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna, all of you. Hare Krishna.